What's up, guys? My name's Steve, aka Hulk Norris, and today I've got some very special and very useful information for you guys, especially if you are looking to improve your game out in the Halo 5 Guardians multiplayer. So these are definitely some very important things that you should pay attention to. The very first thing that we're going to be covering is the maps and your map knowledge. You definitely want to make sure that you are trying to learn every little detail, shortcut, route, whatever about your map. Every little cheeky little thing that most people don't know about, that stuff will become very important and very helpful to you. So you definitely want to make sure that you break down your entire map and know every possible thing about it. You also want to know your hot spots of your map, know what spots are most frequently traveled and where the most amount of players are going to be gathering up at any one or any certain moment of the game. You want to know where your enemy teammates are going to be at. So learning your hot spots is definitely something that's very key and very helpful to you, because it's going to help you in the long run knowing where most of the time the people are going to be trying to go to or trying to get out of. So it helps you and your teammates when it comes to your setups and whatnot. Another thing that has to kind of deal in with your map knowledge is run setups. I see a lot of people and a lot of teams out in matchmaking who try to rely solely on their movements and forget that Halo is a game of teamwork, strategies, and setups. And the movements are only a tool that is used to assist you to that victory. So you definitely want to make sure that you are running setups, because in the long run a setup will greatly help you out, especially if it's just a minor setup. And just having that slight ability to call someone out and know that your teammate's going to be able to turn, look, and lay down shots onto a guy because he knows where you're at and where that guy's at, it's going to greatly help you and your team out in the long run. Another reason why you should be running setups also is because they open the door for different situations that will greatly help your team out. For example, you're up in a spot and you start taking fire from a guy, so you break down, start running away, and he ends up chasing you. You take off running towards your teammate and you call out, "Yo Bob, there's a guy chasing me, I'm coming towards you, he's weak." So Bob turns, sees you come around a corner, and then he instantly knows and is ready to lay down shots on the guy that's about to follow you around that corner, basically into a trap. So like I said, setups will greatly help you out in the long run, and you need to be using them in your setups and in your teamwork, because they are a useful tool that definitely will help you out. Another thing that's going to greatly help you in the Halo 5 multiplayer is be smart with your movement, especially since they implemented sprint back into Halo 5. A lot of people don't realize how big of a damaging thing they do to themselves by sprinting non-stop. You need to be smart with your movements and know when to run and how to run. For example, you should never take off running and continue your run past the corner and wrap around that corner, because you never know what's going to be standing on the other side of that or what's in that hallway. There could be 1, 2, 3 guys standing there, and it's going to take you an additional 2 seconds to pull up your gun after sprinting. And so if you break around a corner and there's 2 guys standing there, they're just going to simply melt you, and there's not much you can really do about it. You should also be smart with how long you run. You shouldn't run for too long, because you could be running right into the middle of someone's setup and they just didn't see you come into it. So you definitely want to be smart with your running and your movements in general. And in certain game types, I highly recommend not sprinting at all. For example, SWAT. SWAT is mostly a game about having a fast shot and not really about having that fast map movement. And so if you are just sprinting around the map, you're putting that huge disadvantage we talked about earlier on yourself, where you have that 2-second delay after you get done sprinting, where you have to pull up your gun before you can even fire. Like I said, you're putting a huge disadvantage on yourself, and you're going to wind up losing a majority of your battles. But don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be sprinting, because the sprint ability is a very big key element to the Halo 5 multiplayer, but you have to use it in a smart way. If you don't use it in a smart way, it's only going to hurt you in the long run, because it's as big as an advantage as it is a disadvantage. Next thing that we're going to talk about is the first shot and how important the first shot is in many first-person shooters, and especially in Halo where you have shields and are in a little bit longer of a battle. You definitely want to make sure that you are thinking about who has the first shot on each other when you're in a certain battle. Because if you are the person that is at a disadvantage in a battle because your enemy attacker got the first shot on you, your thought is no longer needs to be on who's going to win the battle. It needs to be on how you're going to get that shot back. Because in the long run, if you don't get the shot back, you're just going to wind up losing that battle especially if you're in a battle with someone who has equal or greater skill than yourself. You definitely need to be thinking about how you're going to get that shot back, whether it be dipping into cover for a second and then jumping out, or just wrapping around a corner to get your shields up. You always need to be thinking about that when going into a battle if your enemy attacker has the advantage on you. And that thought should always be in your head whenever you go into a battle and you're automatically at a disadvantage because your enemy attacker has that first shot on you. You need to be thinking about how you're going to be getting that shot back and what you can do to recover the disadvantage that your enemy attacker already has on you. And the final thing that we're going to have time for today, guys, is practice your shots and be smart with your shots. And what I mean by that is Halo 5 is not like most of your previous Halos, in which the auto aim is almost non-existent, and so what this does is it is increasing the skill gap. And so if you do not practice your shots, you're going to notice a big drop in your performance out in matchmaking compared to someone who is constantly practicing their shots by running matchmaking or custom games and whatnot. But you also need to be smart with your shots, and if you need to, slower your fire rate in order to regain your accuracy, because the winner of the battle is not going to be the person who spams out the most bullets, but is the person who lands the most shot and has the most accurate shot in the battle. So you definitely want to make sure that you're being smart, and if you have to, slower your fire rate, regain your accuracy, regain control of the battle, and that in the long run will determine who is the victor of that battle. But that's going to be about it for us today, guys. If you enjoyed the video and found any of this information helpful, definitely make sure you Hulk smash that like and subscribe button and let me know. Also, guys, keep an eye out for my upcoming videos along with the new montages getting ready to drop very soon, so definitely get excited for that. But till next time, keep it real, keep it classy, and make sure you guys are having fun.